The mansion gleamed like gold in the morning sun. It was a world completely different from the one Maria had grown up in. She stood at the grand entrance, hands shaking slightly, wearing her freshly pressed maid uniform. Her eyes, however, were tired from countless sleepless nights. Her little brother was ill, hospital bills were stacking up, and this new job at the luxurious estate was her only hope. She had promised herself she would do whatever it took to keep it. But she never imagined that a single sentence from her employer could turn her life upside down. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of a good heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Thread. Your support helps us keep telling emotional stories that touch hearts everywhere. Maria worked quietly and diligently in the mansion of Adrian Cole, a man known throughout the city as the millionaire who could buy anything but trust. Rumors said his fortune came from heartbreak and betrayal. He spoke to almost no one, his cold nature as sharp as his perfectly tailored suits and piercing eyes. For him, emotions were weaknesses. For Maria, who polished the grand piano and cleaned the glass floors, he was simply her distant, powerful boss, untouchable and unapproachable. One stormy evening, the sudden screech of tires on the driveway broke the mansion's silence. Maria peeked through a large window and saw a woman step out of a sleek car, tall, graceful, dressed in white, holding a champagne glass as if the world belonged to her. It was Vanessa, Adrian's ex-wife, a socialite famous for her beauty and arrogance. She hadn't been to the mansion in years, and her unexpected return made the air feel heavy with tension. Maria froze when Adrian called her into the hall. He stood tall, unreadable, while Vanessa's sharp gaze fell on Maria's uniform with obvious disdain. "Who's this?" Vanessa sneered. "Another servant hiding behind?" Adrian looked at Maria, really looked at her, and for the first time his voice softened with something almost human. He placed a hand gently on her shoulder and said quietly but firmly, "Tell her, I'm your husband." Maria's heart nearly stopped. Her eyes went wide with disbelief. She glanced from him to Vanessa, whose smirk vanished and back again. She couldn't understand. Why would her boss, this millionaire, a man of power, say something so shocking? Vanessa gasped, her champagne glass trembling. "What did you just say?" Adrian's hand tightened protectively on Maria's shoulder as he repeated, "You heard me. I'm her husband." The words hung in the hall like a thunderclap. Maria wanted to speak, to correct him, but something in his eyes, something broken and pleading, made her stop. She nodded silently, throat dry. Vanessa's face paled. Her arrogance cracked for the first time. Without another word, she spun on her heels and left. The sound of her heels clicking against the marble faded until silence filled the hall. Maria stood frozen, heart racing, unable to move. Once Vanessa's car disappeared down the driveway, Maria finally whispered, "Sir, why did you say that?" Adrian walked to the window, his back to her, and sighed deeply. "Because," he said slowly, "for once, I wanted to protect someone who didn't want anything from me." His voice wavered slightly, heavy with years of hidden emotions. "Vanessa only cared about my name, my money, my power. But you just did your job. You reminded me what honesty looks like." Maria stayed silent, unsure how to respond. For the first time, she saw something in him she hadn't before. Pain, regret, loneliness. Beneath all the wealth, he was just a man who had forgotten what kindness felt like. The next day, rumors started spreading. Vanessa, furious and humiliated, told stories about Adrian's new wife. Paparazzi camped outside the mansion, cameras ready. Maria was scared, afraid of losing everything. "I'll quit," she told him, tears streaming. "I don't want to cause trouble." Adrian stopped her. "If you leave now," he said gently, "you'll only prove them right, that you don't belong here. Stay." And she did. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, things began to change. Adrian started spending time with Maria in the kitchen, asking about her brother and listening to her stories. He learned that she hadn't taken the job for ambition, but to pay for her brother's heart surgery. One night, Maria found him sitting alone by the fireplace, staring at a photo of his late mother. She realized then that behind all the wealth and power, he was just human. Their connection grew quietly in small moments. The way he smiled at her laughter. The coffee she left on his desk each morning. The way he looked at her as if seeing something he thought he had lost. Trust. But peace didn't last. Vanessa returned with lawyers accusing Adrian of marrying the maid to ruin her image. A storm of legal threats followed, and Adrian's reputation was on the line. Maria was terrified. "I can't let you do this for me," she said. Adrian took her hands and said calmly, "This isn't about us anymore. It's about doing what's right, protecting someone who deserves it." In court, Vanessa's lies fell apart. Adrian revealed the truth behind their divorce and exposed her manipulations. Then he shared how Maria had helped his company avoid a scandal by returning a lost confidential document, something she could have sold for a fortune, but chose not to. "She could have ruined me," Adrian told the courtroom, voice steady. "But instead she saved me. That's what real character looks like." Vanessa's arrogance collapsed under the weight of the truth, and the judge dismissed her claims. Adrian and Maria left the courthouse together, not scandalized but genuine. Weeks later, Maria's brother recovered from surgery. Adrian had quietly paid for it, though he never mentioned it. One evening, as the sunset painted the sky gold, Maria stood on the balcony overlooking the garden. Adrian came up beside her with 2 cups of tea. "You could have left," he said softly. "But I stayed," she replied, faintly smiling. "You could have fired me," he said, looking at her seriously. "But you didn't. You taught me something no business ever could, that sometimes the richest people are those who give without expecting anything in return." Tears filled Maria's eyes. She had entered the mansion as a maid, a nobody, but she had shown a millionaire the true meaning of wealth, honesty, and kindness. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Thread. Your support helps bring hope and warmth to millions. Before you go, tell us in the comments, do you believe love can grow between 2 completely different worlds? As the golden light bathed the mansion, Maria turned to Adrian with a gentle smile. For the first time, both of them felt something priceless: peace. That was the day the millionaire's words, "Tell her I'm your husband," left everyone speechless forever.